Hi, welcome to Echo. This music is really calming, and I don't know if that's quite indicative of how the game is gonna go, but... What? What did I do? Who's... Okay, so yeah, well, welcome to Echo. About 5 months ago I started playing Adastra, and then I released that video 2 days ago, as of recording, on April 1st, because that game was an 18+ gay furry visual novel. This game is also an 18+ gay furry visual novel, but this one is 18+ for, violence, torture, drug usage, and harsh language. To give a quick content warning on this, I'll give the same one that's on the game's itch.io page. Echo can be an emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Please put your mental well-being first and take this into consideration before downloading. And please take that into consideration before watching this series as well. Yeah. So Adastra was like romance, sci-fi visual novel with a lot of political intrigue and a touch of cosmic horror and just horror in general as well, a little bit. And those elements were very well done, but also not like the main focus of the game. I don't really know what the main focus of the game was, to be honest, if there was one. Like, the main focus. It was kind of just all of those things, but this game, from what I've heard, is going to be a full-on horror game. Adastra was already quite distressing in certain spots, and this game is going to be worse. Not worse in a bad way, but worse in like a, oh god, you did this too well kind of way. I mean, there are 5 routes in this game, apparently, and 3 of them were in by Howley, but after the 3rd one, he apparently just, like, got so emotionally exhausted by writing it that he had to move on to Adastra and let someone else make write the remaining 2 routes. So if the writer of the game himself got like that mortified by it, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to it, because that's to me that's a good thing. I like that kind of thing. I mean, I've also like watched Higurashi, and this game kind of reminded me a bit of that, with it also being set in like a small town that seems to be cursed, I guess, and also with them both kind of feeling like dating sims at a first glance, but like neither of them are. Except this game, just instead of anime girls, it has furry boys. And I mean, I quite like Higurashi, so if this is going to be anything like that, then I'm gonna like this as well. So, without further stalling, let's get to the game. I knew you'd be back. This is my first time playing, actually. You all come back eventually. Why do you try to run away in the first place? Doesn't matter. Even though you're here, you're going to try and run again. Just stop. Because just like this town, you're only moving in circles. I think I need to up the text speed a little bit. Saturday. Oh god. Okay, well, it got faster. Oh, wait, I scrolled once. Okay. Yeah, Mom, I brought it. No, I've got everything. No, TJ's with us. We picked him up yesterday. No, I did call you yesterday. There was no answer. Fine, yeah, I'll try more than once next time. So, of course they're clean. Listen, I'm driving right now, so, yeah, so I shouldn't be on the phone, should I? I'm gonna hang up. Okay, love you too, bye. I sigh and finally hang up the phone, dropping it on my lap. TJ, next to me in the passenger seat, stretches back and scratches behind his ear. Who's TJ? What does he look like? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that's cute. It's been a while since I've seen your mom. How is she? I shrug. Fine, I think. She wouldn't tell me if she wasn't, anyway. TJ taps a foot against the dashboard before yawning. Wow, it feels like we've been driving for days. Normally TJ wasn't one to whine, but the long drive was obviously getting to him. It was getting to all of us, honestly. I look over at him. Almost there. Why don't you listen to the music or something? My phone's been dead for the past 2 hours. I didn't know it would take us 8 hours to get there. I sigh. Whether that dig was purposeful or not, I still feel a little embarrassed. I'll admit, I got us lost for a few hours. Route 93 is hard to find, even with the GPS. It's no wonder that Echo's in the state it's in. I am not going to make a joke about it being a state this time, because I remember how well that went with me making that same joke at the beginning of Adastra. You should have brought a book. Those don't run out of batteries. I look up into the rearview mirror and see Jenna hold up a hefty book titled Cognition. TJ sighs. All my books are on my phone. Why don't you listen to the radio? TJ starts to reach for the dial. Don't bother, let me get out here Hicks stations. I have some music on my phone, though. Do you have an aux cable, Chase? In this clunker? No, but like I said, we're almost there. Just having the three of us here is a little awkward, unbalanced. I wonder if completing our little group will bring back that old chemistry. Thinking about seeing Carl, Flynn, and Leo again makes my heart skip a beat. Take exit 127 onto Flint Road. I jerk back to the present and press on the brakes as I swerve onto the exit ramp. Whoa! Sorry. Chase, come on, pay attention! TJ has a little giggle, slight chastisement, but my face gets hot anyway. Hey, me and Jenna went 3 hours out of our way to pick you up from CCU. You could have taken the bus. No, I'm grateful. I'd just rather this not be the place I die. Yeah. It's totally not going to be. We continue down Flint Road for about 15 minutes in silence, while I avoid the ever-increasing number of potholes in the road. I think we're all a little nervous now as we get closer to our destination. Yeah, same. Unsurprisingly, there isn't another car in sight. You guys excited? I look at my rearview mirror again and see that Jenna has put down her book, staring out the window. I actually haven't given a whole lot of thought as to how I feel about the whole thing. I guess I'll say I'm nervous. I don't know, it's been a while since we've all been together. Think things will be the same? I'm an Echo. Are you excited to go back? Oh. I didn't really know how to answer that. Is excited the right word? It's sure as hell stressful. As long as we can go for a hike. I don't want to be sitting around in the motel all day. Well, it beats having a heat stroke in the desert. Are you seriously hiking the trail? Oh, come on, it'll be fun. At least I know Chase will come. TJ smiles at me, raising his brows. It's too hard to say no to such an eager face, at least right now. Yeah, of course. Anyway, it sounds like you've only got the boys on your mind, Chase. Leo, maybe? Make a slight right onto Lake Emma Road. I ignore Jenna, pretending to be distracted with adjusting the GPS. A few more minutes of silence pass before Jenna speaks up again. So, this news thing you're making, what's it about exactly? I swerve a little to avoid another pothole. A news packet. If you remember, there was that one crazy thing that happened here in the early 1900s. I read a little bit about it, and it's pretty fucked up. Come on, Chase, language. Just thought I'd do a little more digging. Honestly, though, I just need to make something that looks good enough to pass with. Well, that sounds kind of fun. Are you going to have enough time to hang out? I know Leo made some plans. This whole thing was Leo's idea, actually. When I told him that I'd be coming down to Echo for spring break, he suggested we all use it as an excuse to have a reunion. He says it hasn't been the same since the three of us left. Yeah, I should. I just need some B-roll and shots of the old creepy locations. Shouldn't take long. So how long are we staying exactly? This is a long game, right? I think it had like something like 550,000 words, whereas Adastra had like 200,000. But I mean, this game also has 5 routes, so... I catch a flash of blue and see the lake to our right. The conversation dies down a bit, and pretty soon we're all lost in our own thoughts. Finally, we're on a bend, and I start to catch some glimpses of the town. The tall, rusted signs for the gas station and motel loom over the rest of the old community. Lake Emma Road merges right onto Main Street, where the motel is at. Soon enough, we're turning into the parking lot. There are only a few other cars in the parking lot. I park in the closest spot next to the door and switch off the ignition, relieved to be done with the driving. I sit back for a moment, rubbing my eyes. I hope you're grateful, TJ. I never want to drive that long again. Thanks, Chase! TJ hops out of the car, clearly happy to be out. Oh, that's TJ, okay. TJ puts his paws to his back and stretches out from toes to ear tufts, and I hear a few cracks. Gosh, it feels good to be out of there. I smile as I follow him out and stretch as well, though less flamboyantly. It's good to see TJ reverting back to his old cheerful self. Oh, so TJ's flamboyant. Well, that's fine. I like to, revert expectations with my voices. I don't know if revert is the right word, but surpass definitely isn't either. Alright, I made the reservations, so I'll check us in. You boys want to bring in our stuff? Sure. Me and TJ head around to the trunk of the car, getting our bags and camera equipment while Jenna heads inside. I'm pleasantly surprised. While it's a bit musty, the room is spacious and generally clean, a lot more than I was expecting from a town like Echo. Although I've lived in a town for most of my life, I've never actually been in the motel. Hey, this is nice. And 2 double beds? Yeah, I thought I'd get one of the nicer rooms, since everything here is dirt cheap. TJ sets his bags down on the bed. So I guess this'll be me and Chase's bed. Jenna can have her own, obviously. That's nice of you, TJ. Anyway, here are your key cards. She hands us both our key cards, which I slip into my back pocket. Oh my god. I think my voice is like a little cookie, because I ate cookies before I recorded this. So, when we gonna eat? I'm starving. My stomach grumbles. We haven't eaten since breakfast, and it's late afternoon at this point. I pull out my phone, checking over my text with Leo. Leo said he's gonna get us some sandwiches from the diner. Did you tell— Yes, I told him to substitute the bread with lettuce for yours, TJ. Nice. Alright, well, I've texted everyone that we're here. Let's at least unpack. It's gonna get crowded, and I don't want all our stuff in the way. Half an hour later, we've got all our stuff packed away in the motel drawers. Now I'm sitting on the bed, toying with my camera equipment while TJ watches TV, and Jenna organizes her schoolwork. You know you're on vacation, right? And didn't you already get into grad school? You should relax. That's exactly why I need to be keeping up. There's a knock at the door, and being the closest, I get up to answer it. I'll get it. I look through the peephole excitedly and see a beanie cap with a pair of some very familiar horns poking through it. I grin as I unlock the door and swing it open. Carl! He's a goat dude, yay! Chase! That's such a stupid voice. I'm not going to give him that voice. That's not going to do for an entire visual novel's length, where one of the routes is going to be focused on him, probably. I should probably think a little harder about these voices, now that I think about it. Actually, he kind of looks like Jacksepticeye, with a cap on. Chase described it as like a beanie cap, I think. But that kind of looks like the cap that Jacksepticeye used to wear, like from this angle. And also it might be the hoodie that's reminding me of Jacksepticeye too. But that being said, I'm not giving this guy an Irish accent because I don't know how to do that. Chase! I slap paws with him and pull him into a hug. And immediately get a whiff of the pungent sense of pot. Despite that, his embrace is warm and plush, and his belly squishes against my body like a pillow through his jacket. There is an underlying sturdiness though, and I feel his biceps bulge around my shoulders. Had he been working out? I put my paws on his shoulders and push him back, looking him over. He's changed a bit since I last seen him. He's definitely bulkier, and the fur on his face is a bit shaggier. His eyes are a little red. They look green, actually. And his expression is a little glazed, like he's daydreaming about some place far away from here. Still getting glazed, huh? You know it. His jokey nature drops a bit as he gives me a genuine smile. It's good to see you again. I feel warm inside as I smile back. You too. Is that Carl I hear? Carl and I step back into the room, the ram remaining slouched as we do. Hey, Jenna. Carl, how you been? Not bad, just living life, like I'm a bee. It sounds like he's starting to sing the lyrics to a song, but he trails off as we all look at him expectantly. He just smiles back. Huh? Hey, is that— oh, no, that's Carl. Speaking, TJ just dropped into view. So I was like, oh, It's TJ. Hey, is that TJ? Hi. Though he's smiling happily, TJ is outright crinkling his nose. Still up to your old habits, huh? Carl shrugs. I'm starting to remember that's something he does a lot. It's his answer to almost everything. I mean, same with me, to be honest. I'm always, like, so uncertain about things that almost always my answer to every question that everyone asks me is I don't know, at least when I first think about it. It would probably be more efficient to just shrug my shoulders. Because I always just say, I don't know. And it probably gets a little repetitive for people. It gets quiet for a moment, then I clap my paws together. So, what have you been up to, Carl? You're not online that often. Carl shrugs. Oh, you know, just hanging out. Must be kinda boring, considering it's Echo. Not going outside helps. You been able to find a job? I know they closed the old corner market you used to work at. Yeah, been kinda hard since pretty much everything's closing around here. On top of that, I still don't have a car that can get me to Payton. Oh, that's right. You crashed the one your parents got you. TJ's grinning sympathetically, but Carl hunches further into himself, looking sulky. Man, don't kill my vibe. Why am I relating to Carl the most? I mean, I haven't crashed a car, but I do suck at driving, and I imagine I probably would crash a car if I drove one for long enough. What about school? Been thinking about going back? Not really. Maybe. Carl's starting to lose that faraway look as he narrows his eyes. You should. You went for what, a semester? That's not really enough time to tell if you're really cut out for college. Classes get easier to handle once you get used to it. Yeah, well, it wasn't exactly the schoolwork that was the problem. You could try smoking less weed, that might help. What? Was I set up for an intervention or something? Carl looks over at me as if asking for help. Hey, don't look at me, I had to deal with them for the past 10 hours. Yeah, I guess I just forgot how naggy they can be. That's because we care about you, Carl. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Chase has been missing you ever since you left school. Carl and I were in the same class through our school. As a result, we entered college together. We even roomed together for that one semester, which was a lot of fun. Of course I'd missed him. Carl seems pretty eager to get off the topic, though. Speaking of school, didn't you get accepted into Western, Jenna? Yep, going into experimental psych. I start in the fall. That's pretty cool. Congrats. Carl turns back to me. And you're into journalism, right? He looks over the equipment, looking confused. What's all this? Oh, yeah, one of the reasons why I'm out here. I'm doing a news segment on Echo. Sounds like the feel-good movie of the year, Chase. That's what you get out of the feel-good town of the century, Carl. Yeah. Carl scratches his muzzle before turning to TJ. And you're doing what again? Sports... something? Bible Olympics? Athletic training, but yes, it's a Christian school. Carl gives a thumbs up. Super. So, we gonna eat? I'm hungry as hell. Hell is a little extreme there, Carl. Not even you can be that hungry. Sure. Where is Leo? He's bringing the sandwiches, right? I'm starting to think not all of these guys get along with each other. TJ being from a Christian school and, like, pointing out every time someone curses. And then Carl being, like, a stoner who clearly doesn't like being called out constantly. He actually just texted me that he's here. He was picking up Flynn. So we're all gonna be here, just like old times. TJ almost looks like that little kid Lynx again, his ears twitching around with excitement. Oh, there they are! I grip the bedspread and watch as Carl moves around the corner to open the door. I hear it open, followed by the distinctive, deep, brassy voice of Flynn. Finally, we get a voice description so I know what to go for. Even though I can't do deep, brassy voices. Hey, why are you getting the door, fatty? To get my sandwiches, dickface. I've got the munchie like a mother. Where are they? Leo has them. Here he is. No voice description for Leo. So, it's a wild card. Again. But this is gonna be the last one, I think? Maybe I can just look at the characters and be like, yeah, he looks like that. Oh, Leo's that guy. So he's like a big guy, but like also I don't want to just give him a deep voice because I don't have very many deep voices, I think. I can try to go for like a Markiplier kind of thing for Leo. Not that it's going to sound anything like Markiplier, but I can go for that. Hey, are they all in there? My heart skips a beat, and my tail thumps the bed as I hear Leo's high baritone. Oh! Okay. I mean, honestly, high baritones can sound like anything, basically, now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. It's whatever. I'll just be doing these voices for like 30 hours. There's some bustling before they start coming around the corner, bringing me face to face with the rest of my childhood friends. Flynn comes first, slinking in casually, his posture loose and relaxed, slouching. Unlike Carl, though, his slouch makes him look like he just doesn't give a fuck, as opposed to just trying to make himself seem smaller. He wasn't a shy guy, as evidenced by his open shirt. And who you callin' dickface? Flynn knocks Carl on the head, which made a loud thunking sound, but Carl just grins throughout. Random past tense in there. Cool. Hey Jenna, TJ, Chase. He nods to each of us in turn, rubbing us his knuckles. Wait, that was Flynn saying that. I'm stupid. The color looked like Jenna to me. Hey Jenna, TJ, Chase. He nods to each of us in turn, rubbing his knuckles. Immediately following him, his arms wrapped around two big brown paper bags, is Leo, who sounds like Markiplier but with a high baritone voice, apparently. I mean, technically I could be a high baritone. I don't even know. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm a tenor, but I can't even reach very high. So, like, I don't know. He smiles over the tops of the bags, sweeping the room with his eyes, along with his tall rectangular ears. He pauses on Jenna, then TJ, before finding me. His face immediately breaks into a full-on grin as he walks over to the bed I'm sitting on, setting down the bags. Okay. As he comes to a stop in front of me, I reach out my paw to slap his, like I did with Carl. Instead, he grabs it to yank me up right into a tight bear hug, nearly squeezing the air out of me. Oh, Chase! Man, I missed you! Just like Carl, it seems like Leo's gotten bigger and stronger. He lifted me up without even trying. The tension I've been feeling in my chest melts away like an ice cube on an echo sidewalk. Everything's fine. All of that worry about how he was going to react was for nothing. The hug is lasting kinda long, though. I can feel everyone else looking at us. And just like that, he forgets we exist. Leo finally does pull back then, smacking me on the shoulder before turning to greet Jenna and TJ. I shakily sit back down, feeling a whole lot better now that the introductions are out of the way. Fuck, leave Carl in the room for 5 seconds, it smells like a goddamn skunk sauna. The weed is just oozing out of your pores at this point. Flynn theatrically plugs his nostrils as he pulls the window open a crack. Carl rolls his eyes, slouching further and jamming his paws in his pockets. Oh, shut up. I think everyone here agrees that my smell's a lot better than your shedding. Nothing like leaving a big pile of lizard dust on the couch for the next person. And by the way, dude, that skunk comment was speciesist. And that lizard comment wasn't. Flynn turns to me, fanning air in from the outside with his hand. What's worse, Chase? Carl's smell or my dusting off? Dusting off? That's not a thing. Try saying white flakes that chip off of me with every step I take, except when I scratch my ass. Then it's like a fucking blizzard to dead skin. And some of it might land in your mouth. That's what you should call it. Hey, you furballs do it too. It's just less noticeable. Either way, it's hot in here. Aren't you cold-blooded? Someone turn down the goddamn thermostat. Somebody turn down your language, huh? TJ says it to him like a cheerful kindergarten teacher, pep-talking a student into using his words. Doesn't probably work on Flynn. They stare at each other for about 5 seconds, Flynn's expression like a stone, while TJ slowly loses his smile. Well, Jesus but fucking Christ, I'll be sure to watch that. Flynn? TJ actually looks pretty upset, but Flynn just reaches out and yanks him into a chokehold, the much shorter lynx easily dwarfed by Lizard. Ah, shut your priss, I'm just kidding. TJ half-heartedly fights the hold. I guess TJ thought he'd get some respect now that we're all adults. Hey, ow! You still said it. Normally I might step in to help, but it's been a while since I've seen Flynn and TJ go at it. It's just too funny to stop. Look, no lightning. So much for almighty go- Oh! TJ jabs his elbow back into Flynn's stomach, doubling the lizard over for a second. See? God works in mysterious way- Ow! Flynn reaches up and grabs at one of the tufts on TJ's ears and yanks, earning a yowl from the feline. Bow! Species features! Species features was something we made up to make our tussles a little more fair. It involved any distinct physical difference between our species that might pose us as a disadvantage, like my tail, Jen's ears, or TJ's ear tufts. Carl was especially keen on it. Being a ram, his horns were often used as leverage against him. He could have also used his horns as leverage for himself. Like just headbutting someone. I mean, I think. Maybe his face is a little too long for that, but like he could just aim to the side of it and one of his horns will hit. TJ, come get your sandwich. TJ finally yanks himself out of Flynn's grasp, smoothing down his fur as he tries to look as dignified as possible. Well, I can see things haven't changed. With that, TJ walks over to the table to get his food. I can't help but laugh. I think TJ won that one by technicality. Or did he? He might have fouled, too. Flynn's got a soft lizard belly. Flynn snorts, rubbing his stomach. Oh, don't even try to tell me about soft, asshole. It looks like you swallowed a beach ball. Speaking of which, food! We all pass the bags around to get our food. A chicken sandwich for Jenna and TJ, roast beef for me and Leo, and 3 large veggie burgers that almost take up their own bag for Carl. Flynn, as usual, isn't eating anything. I think it's a lizard thing. I keep my seat on the bed as I unwrap the foil around my sandwich. The smell wafts up from the beef, making my mouth water and bringing some memories up with it. We'd all spent many nights at the old diner. I can remember the night me and Carl graduated. Leo took us all straight from Payton High to the diner, skipping out on the all-night graduation party for sandwiches and milkshakes. I take a huge bite and a yellow bell pepper slips out the other end, landing back in the foil. Whoa, slow down, you're going to choke! Suddenly I'm almost falling over to the side as something heavy flats itself next to me on the bed. I quickly grab a napkin and bring it to my muzzle, wiping away the grease. Hey, Leo. Leo chuckles at my embarrassment and unwraps his own sandwich. Sorry if the bread is a little soggy. Garrobo over here took his sweet time getting to the car. Hey, working in the town hall is serious business. I don't have a family business I can just waltz out of like you. Hey Flynn, I'll bet you that I could eat this whole burger in 1 minute. Is that a fucking joke? Of course you can. Yeah, but what about 2 burgers? Don't joke, Carl. I decide to keep the conversation on Leo's job, since that's the whole reason why he's still here. Is business still pretty good? Yes, Payton's getting bigger, so is the number of customers. I guess it's a good thing your dad moved it out of Echo, huh? For sure. The place is turning into a ghost town. It probably will be in another decade or 2. By some standards, it already is. I take another bite of my sandwich, biting right into another bell pepper. I'd forgotten how good the diner food is. I notice TJ sitting next to Jenna at the table, picking unhappily at his lettuce-wrapped chicken. Jenna seems to as well as she leans towards him. What's wrong, TJ? It's just... Never mind, it doesn't matter. Are you sure? It's just the mayo. I forget they put it on everything here. Jenna lifts up the bun on her sandwich, inspecting its contents. None of the mayo really got on my chicken. Here. No, you don't have... Jenna picks up TJ's sandwich and swaps out his grilled chicken. She rips off the layer of mayo-tainted lettuce from his lettuce bun before swapping her chicken in. There, how's that? Thanks. It's then that TJ looks up and sees Leo and I staring at him. I see his ears flatten in embarrassment. That doesn't seem embarrassing to me. You just don't like mayo, neither do I. It's not our fault our taste buds are that way. Okay? What? Nothing, TJ, nothing. So, are your parents still letting you live in that house here in Echo? Yes, we actually tried to sell it last year, but of course no one bought. I think 2 people came to look, but took off once they saw the town. Anyway, my parents are living in Payton in a house twice as big as the old one. Well, it must be pretty cool living in your own house. My parents aren't constantly breathing down my neck, so that's, nice. Leo's already finished his first sandwich, and now he's unwrapping the second. He sure could eat a lot. I mean, you gotta to be that big. How many people are still here, anyway? In the town, I mean. Leo takes another bite, and I hear the crunch of the peppers to his muzzle. He chews thoughtfully for a moment before swallowing. Not too sure. Of course I know almost everyone here, but most don't actually live here anymore. Most everyone's turned their old house into a sort of vacation home now. Really? Why? I can't imagine anyone coming here for a vacation. Unless your hobbies are meth or dying of heat stroke. Well, they've got all their old houses here, and it's cheap to build. And the town is actually trying to turn that old lake into a recreational thing. Lake Emma? Yeah, they're putting in docks and stuff. Huh. Lake Emma is the old reservoir just a few minutes out of town. As kids, we used to play around there all the time. It was generally an ugly place. Dead fish on the banks, a terrible smell, and mosquitoes everywhere. Then again, it could have changed since then. I haven't been there in 12 years now. None of us have. Thinking about the lake is making my stomach tighten again, forcing away my appetite in the process. It's been so long at this point, I need to learn to get over things. Actually, that reminds me. The others are pretty deep in their own conversations, but I lower my voice anyway, leaning into Leo. Hey, Leo. Hmm? Leo turns to me. He had been in the middle of a massive fight, and now he has a bell pepper half hanging out his muzzle. That throws off my train of thought for a second. Oh yeah, so I wanted to get some shots of the lake for my project. Leo ducks his head to pull out the pepper from his muzzle, only to shove it back in a second later. He chews for a while, but his ears are still tipped towards me, so I go on. It's kind of important to Echo's history. Anyway, you told me that on Monday everyone's free during lunch. I can tell by the sound of Leo's ears that he knows where I'm going, and he's not too into the idea. I quickly go on. Of course, we don't have to. It's been a long time, and if the town is making it look better, it could be fun. Listen, Chase. I feel my face burn a little under the fur. Sorry, it was a dumb idea. No, Chase, if it were up to me, I'd definitely do it. It's just... Leo looks towards Flynn, and I do as well, finding him still bantering with Carl. Doesn't matter how fucking fast you eat, I'm not gonna be impressed. He's got that classic Flynn look on his face, where he's pressing his lips together, trying not to smile. What if I ate all three? You've already eaten most of the first one, so that's not gonna happen now, is it? I look back down at my sandwich. I suddenly feel really guilty. Here I am, back after 3 years, just assuming that I know how everyone feels. Now I'm kind of feeling like an imposter. Leo notices, like he always did, and he nudges me with his shoulder. Hey, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. Suddenly, Leo's ears perk up, and I know he suddenly had an idea. His ears made him easily readable, just as reading people came easily to him. It made it all the more impressive that he was able to tell what most of us were thinking, considering my short, stubby ears. Or Flynn's lack thereof. Listen, there's a cool little spot by the river that's actually pretty close to the lake. We could have lunch, and you could walk over and get your shots. The idea makes me feel a bit better. Alright, that could be fun. Also, this motel doesn't have a pool, so it'll be really nice to swim in something. Otters in their waters. Oh. I only noticed the S at like the very end of me saying that. Otters in their waters. Anyway, I'll have to ask Flynn, but I think he'll be okay with it. What would really impress me is if you didn't eat the rest. You're a funny guy, Flynn. Carl goes right back to shoving the next burger into his mouth, as Flynn looks on in mild disgust. He suddenly notices us watching him, and he gives us a nod look, but that slowly morphs into a smirk as he focuses on Leo. You're looking pretty happy there, Leo. Not like you've been for the past 3 years. I furrow my brow in confusion and look up at Leo. Oh god, he's the Sayori of this visual novel. That's the second visual novel this reminded me of, Doki Doki Literature Club. But that's just because this is a horror visual novel that also looks like a dating sim at first glance. And also, apparently both of them deconstruct dating sim tropes to some degree. Actually, now that I think about it, as many visual novels as I've played in my life, I don't think I've ever played, like, a regular dating sim. Because, I played Doki Doki Literature Club, which is kind of a dating sim for, like, 3 hours. I've played Adastra, which has been described, at least by Keith Ballard, as, like, a reverse dating sim. And he also described this game as an anti-dating sim. So, yeah. Actually, wait, now that I think about it, I have played a dating sim. But it wasn't really regular either, because it was the Bachelor. It was more like a funny thing and not a romantic thing. I thought I might, like, maybe play something else between all of the routes in this game. So, like, I might do, since November, after the first route that I get in this game done. Maybe the next time after that I should do The Bachelor, just to lighten the mood a little bit. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about Keith Ballard so much, it's because he's basically my only reference on, like, very visual novel stuff. Because he's the only other YouTuber I've seen talk about them for more than, like, 2 seconds. And, like, not as a joke. And also, he made one since November. Anyway, I furrow my brow in confusion and look up at Leo. I see him shift, and he's giving Flynn a look that I don't quite understand. Well, of course I'm happy to see us all back together again. I look from Leo to Flynn, and it's pretty easy to imagine a bolt of electricity between them. You should have seen him, Chase. He'd go days without smiling. Agreed. Leo's been kind of a dick ever since you guys left. Oh, well. Isn't Jenna a counselor? Hey, you should have a session with Leo. I'm still an undergrad. I'm not going into counseling anyway. That would just make me sad. TJ is busy trying to hold a sandwich together and eat it at the same time. Not very successfully, but he looks up as well. Leo, depressed? It's hard to imagine you not smiling. You seem fine online. Has something been going on, Leo? For the first time since he's arrived, Leo looks truly uncomfortable. You don't see him like that very often. Flynn, on the other hand, has his trying not to smirk face on. Well, Leo pauses, pinned down by everyone's eyes in the room. Then he takes a frustrated breath. Can't people be sad sometimes? Yes, things have been harder, but I'm fine. I think it's pretty clear that Flynn... Leo flicks his long muzzle at the lizard. Is just trying to get some reactions. Sure, I'm just saying you're back to your old self. But seriously, it's great. Leo makes a snorting sound. I'm about to ask Leo what's so stressful when he lifts his paw up again to take a bite of his almost finished sandwich. I go quiet as I look at his paw. A silver anchor, tied around his wrist with leather. Oh! It's the same anchor that I have in the mouse cursor. Oh, the word otter is etched into the anchor. The name Chase is engraved in the stock. Why was he still... Chase! I jump as TJ's voice breaks through my trance, bouncing on the bed once I come down. Leo looks at me as the bed wobbles, an eyebrow raised. TJ puts a paw to his muzzle. Oops! Sorry, you were just kind of staring off into space. Yeah, just thinking about stuff. What's up? We were just talking about the last game. Didn't you tell me that you saw that movie on the drive here? I really don't get you right now, TJ. The last game was the worst Lynx Brigade movie. You're just mad because they didn't follow the comics. Yeah, Carl, as a movie it was just better. I'm sure the comics are great too, though. No, the comics are shit. Carl tried showing them to me once. Bah! See? This is the problem. They never follow the source material and no one cares, because they have no respect for the originals, man. You're way too picky, Carl. The last game was a great movie. Not you too, Leo! I don't know, I think Lynx Brigade was always a bit too violent for me, what with all the shooting and punching. I've always liked the Trinity Weasel. She's the thinking man's superheroine. Carl waves his paw dismissively. The Trinity comics have always been pretty lame. They're jerk-off fodder for lonely nerds, and so's the movie. You mean like yourself? Hey, hold up, we're talking about Trinity now? Julia Blasco, she's hella fine. Never seen an ass like hers on a weasel before. That's because it's fake. No, I just like the story. It's really kinda deep, if you think about it. It was hard to think about when half the shots are slow-mo when she's doing all these flips and backbends and shit. I didn't think that was your sort of thing anyway, Flynn. Flynn doesn't have time to retort before Jenna shifts her attention, seemingly coming to TJ's defense. Come on, Trinity does have more story going on than your average superhero movie. I think it's great that you like our character over all the meatheads. Yeah, they just stuck in all the boob shots to reel in the dummies. Of course that's easy for someone like you to say. Besides, I see what's going on here. Maybe you should watch Luce Lobo, TJ. He's shirtless the whole time. TJ's ears go flat, tufts pointed at the ground. I'd better stop it with all this saucy talk. The only way this could get any more awkward is if he got sprung. Don't say that. We all groan in unison, but TJ shoots right back. And knowing you, that's exactly what you want to happen, isn't it, Flynn? That gets a few surprised chuckles. Damn, TJ, where'd that come from? It isn't that it is a particularly good joke, it's that it came from TJ that makes it so funny. I don't think I've ever heard him talk like that. Even Flynn can't keep from grinning a little bit. We talk late into the afternoon. At this point, all of my worries have disappeared, leaving a happy, warm feeling in its place. Seems silly that I'd been so nervous earlier. In fact, I'm starting to look forward to the rest of the week. Alright. Leo steps forward, indicating that we should all shut up. Now, we all need to remember that Chase is here to do his school project, so that comes first. But, I did make a few other plans for things that we can do on his off time. I'm pretty sure all of us know that we're going to Southwest Adventures tomorrow, so I'll pick these two up. He jerks his head towards Flynn and Carl. Then swing by the motel to get you guys at 9, alright? Sounds good. Then, I was thinking about doing some stuff in Payton towards the end of the week, but we'll make those plans later. In between those times, we should find time to hang out as well. Make the most of this. Leo looks about done, but suddenly snaps his fingers, as if remembering something. Oh yeah, Chase, I saw you had a camera. Think you could get a pic of us? It would be nice for all of us to have something that isn't camera phone quality. Oh, sure, I was messing with the self-timer earlier. Should be able to get it to work. Wait, so, when does this take place? He's talking about camera phones. Like, most phones have cameras nowadays. I mean, Route 65, which is a prequel to this, takes place in 2008. And that would be, like, a time when I would expect people to talk about camera phones. After a few minutes of me adjusting the tripod, and Leo adjusting everyone at the end of one of the beds, we managed to get into position. Alright, here goes. I set the timer and fast walked to the spot Leo saved for me. Aww. That's cute. That was the image on the itch.io page that I tried to use to judge Leo's character. Or not his character, but his voice. For the next 2 hours, we watch a movie on TV, not really paying attention, mostly catching up with each other on how we've been. It's good to be back, and it feels like we're all just picking up where we left off 3 years ago. It's really nice. Finally, at about 10, Leo, Carl, and Flynn head out. I spend the next 20 minutes tinkering with the equipment, making sure it's all in order for shooting the next day. Once TJ finishes getting ready for bed in the bathroom, I do as well before getting into bed, head to toe with TJ. There's a soft glow from the corner as Jenna sits at the table reading something. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting for her to go to sleep. There's a chain attached to my ankle as I walk away from the lake, my legs and feet caked in mud. Oh god, it's the creepypasta reading music. I was not expecting that. I thought this game mostly had like original music. Okay, maybe I have to do a creepypasta voice now. There's a chain attached to my ankle as I walk away from the lake, my legs and feet caked in mud. I look back, seeing the chain snaking back around the rocks and reeds before disappearing into the water. Looking ahead again, I see Leo. He's smiling, waving at me. I walk towards him and the chain stays slack, pulling easily out of the water. There's an anchor in the lake, I say. I stare at him, but he doesn't say anything and just keeps on smiling. I crouch on the rocks, wrapping the chain around my wrist a few times. Leo kneels next to me, rubbing my back and sticking out his arm to compare our bracelets, saying that everyone gets one. He seems happy, but now I'm stuck here. I can't even stand up to walk. Okay. Nothing about that was creepy. At least in terms of just the text. Was it? And I wasn't completely paying attention to actually comprehending it, but... Oh, you can't see who said what in the backlog here. It's a shame. Okay, well I guess the chain attached to my ankle is a little creepy. Oh, well, okay. I guess I'm stuck with Leo there. That's a red flag. But I'm still probably going to go for Leo's route anyway, first. Payton is about a bit of a distance away. To get there, you have to get on Route 93, which Flynn tells me isn't even called that anymore. That would make sense, considering how it was impossible to find on the GPS. Anyway, to get to the city, you have to merge from the remnants of 93 onto I-40, which runs straight to the city of Payton. About 15 minutes from Payton, we pull over at a rest stop, which sits at a higher elevation than Echo. If you're looking in the right direction, it gives you a great view of the town. I stand outside the old, run-down restroom, a paw over my eyes. I stare out over the desert. A distant, hazy view of a group of small buildings huddled together signals where the town is. From this vicarious distance, it looks small and harmless. Hard to imagine all the things that happen there. Vicarious distance? That's an interesting word to use to describe distance. Or is it? Maybe. Maybe I'm just thinking that because the only other place I've heard it is the song Vicarious by Tool. Maybe it's used more metaphorically than that. Well, no, it's... The definition is experienced in the imagination through the feelings or actions of another person. Acting or done for another. Alright, how do I use this thing? I look over and see Leo fumbling with the camera, obviously worried that he was going to break it. I walk over and show him how to use it, checking the white balance and exposure myself. I wasn't too good with cameras, but the equipment manager at the university had given me a quick lesson on how to do things. Alright, so I want you to zoom out from Echo, slowly, and while you do that, I'm going to walk in frame, okay? Yeah, okay. Leo hoists the camera up and looks through the viewfinder, ears perked up and smiling. Alright, signal me when you're ready. I adjust the clip-on mic while Leo focuses the camera, then raises his paw, signaling that I should start. I walk into the frame, keeping one paw in my pocket and using the other to gesture. I hope I don't look too awkward. I always feel like I do. Echo first began as a settlement in 1852, after James Hendricks discovered gold in a quartz deposit. The town grew quickly in size, and once it began to serve as a junction along Prescott Railway, it reached a peak population of 6,500 in 1877. It was at this point in time that a peculiar phenomenon of mass hysteria took over. Oh. Many say the reason this occurred was due to the discovery of a body within the gold mine, and the circumstances surrounding that discovery. While not much is known about this event, what is known is that once it ended, a large portion of the population left Echo. Most of those who left settled in the nearby town of Payton. However, the town still managed to prosper well enough until the 40s. That's when the government stepped in to shut down the mine, as it became a federal law to divert all mining resources to the war effort. The town's population sharply declined shortly thereafter, and by the 1950s, it had dwindled to approximately 2,000 people. A shutdown of the Prescott Railway in the 1960s, followed by the bypassing of Route 93 by I-40 in 1986, was the final nail in the coffin for the town. By the 90s, the population had dwindled to just 150 people. My goal, however, is to investigate the first event which led to this town's decline, and possible demise. What happened in that mine almost 150 years ago? I've come to Echo to try and find out what information, if any, can be gleaned from the events of the past. I wait for a few seconds, then look at Leo. That good? Yeah, don't know how to stop this though. Here. I walk over to take the heavy camera off Leo's paws. That was pretty good. You want to be a reporter? Maybe. I'd rather just write than be on camera though. Yo, Chase! Leo and I look up towards the car, greeted by the sight of a bright white ram's ass hanging out the back window of Leo's van. I don't really react. I mean, despite being self-conscious about his weight, Carl was pretty shameless about stuff like this. Okay, I've probably seen his naked butt more often than I've seen Leo's, and that was saying something. Make sure you got a shot of me. Hey! At that moment, Flynn, who was sitting next to Carl in the back, reaches around and yanks the ram's pants down so that they hang around his knees. Even though Carl's pretty quick to pull him back up, I still get a pretty good view of his equally big white balls dangling between his legs. Okay. Leo snorts, and I can see Flynn laughing his ass off while Carl punches him in the shoulder. Unfortunately for TJ, who was sitting in the middle row with Jenna, he was looking back at the time and probably got a much better view than I did. Now he's facing forward, covering his face while Jenna sits next to him, reading a book, looking uninterested. Nearly 21 and he's still doing that, huh? Yeah, it's a little more awkward without you three around, though. We head back to the car, and I grab the camera bag from the passenger seat to put the camera away. Hey, did you see my ass? Saw more than that. Your thing's about the horrors of Echo, right? It'll be a perfect fit. Well, if you can even fit it on the camera. I stashed the camera bag in the footwell before hopping in. Southwest Adventures is an amusement park right in the middle of Payton. It's decent enough that people come not just from Payton, but cities up to 100 miles away to vacation here. Because of this, it's hugely crowded, and today is no exception. Families and their kids are everywhere. It's a generally nice day, sunny, in the 80s, and it being on a Sunday added to the crowd. Oh my god, in the 80s. I know that's Fahrenheit, but it's like a sauna in Celsius. I kind of feel like a sauna in here right now. That might be why my voice is getting so tired so easily. It's 25 degrees in here, Celsius. Don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit, but it's not like that much, but it's just enough for it to be uncomfortable to do something like this. At least for me. 25 degrees. 77 degrees Fahrenheit, okay. I didn't mind though. The point of this is to hang out with my friends. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starving. Let's get some funnel cakes. Jesus, Carl, we just got here. Hey, I didn't have any breakfast. Yeah, I had breakfast alright. A blunt with a side of the munchies. It's no problem. You can do that while I plan out what we're doing. Carl ambles off, on his way to the funnel cake stand. That was weirdly, like, stilted cat animation there. Or glitchy. I snagged one of the park maps from the entrance, and I hand that to Leo. Alright, so usually when my family comes here, we go clockwise to hit all the rides. I wasn't sick before recording this, but I think I might be getting sick. Over the course of this recording session. That sounds like a plan. It's pretty crowded today, so we probably won't be able to do everything, but in this order we'll at least be able to ride Event Horizon. You sure? Line is always so long for that ride. TJ's looking up towards a tall, spiraling electric red steel roller coaster. It's definitely the most recognizable landmark in the park. You could see it from almost anywhere in Payton. Yup, fastest and tallest roller coaster in the West. I think it'll be worth it. Oh. TJ rubbed his arm with one paw, the corner of his muzzle twitching a little bit. I had forgotten about that. He used to have a pretty pronounced motor tic, where the corner of his mouth would twitch up over and over again. It used to be a constant thing, but it stopped once we entered middle school. Guess it hadn't completely gone away. You alright, TJ? We could skip the big rides if you— Oh hell, TJ, you're a fucking adult now. No, it's fine, I'm fine. I just haven't been on a roller coaster in a while. TJ snapped his head back towards us. He's all tensed up, and the movement looks like a rubber band being snapped. Oh my god! Okay, I don't think it even matters if I have the windows open. I think you can still hear the wind. TJ snapped his head back towards us. He's all tensed up, and the movement looks like a rubber band being snapped. I'm riding all the ride with you guys. TJ walks off, his paws shoved deep in his pockets. I feel bad for him, and I want to give him an out somehow, but that's when Carl comes back with his funnel cake. Stuffed with ice cream, powdered sugar, and strawberries. Anyone want to share? Yeah, that looks really good. No? Alright, guess I'll have to eat the whole thing. Great, we gotta wait for Fat Ass to finish eating. Carl pulls his face out of the cake. Even with his white fur, I can see the powdered sugar clinging to his chin. Nah, I can eat in line. We going on Event Horizon first? The wait'll be an hour long at least. The line ends up being 2 hours long, and by the time we get to the actual ride, I'm dying to get into a pool of any kind. To put it bluntly, an otter needs water. Part of the problem of living in Echo meant that we didn't have any kind of indoor pool system in our house, being as cheap as it was. We ended up having to get an outdoor swimming pool, which was a pain. Nervous, Chase? I smirk at him. I've ridden it before, Leo. Though your tail's kinda down. Sure you're not nervous? Come on, Leo, let's ride the front. Oh, I don't know. I watch as Jenna pulls Leo towards the line for the front, which is twice as long as all the others. I opt for the middle, and it just so happens that TJ comes with me. His tufted ears had been poking straight up the entire time, muzzle giving an occasional switch. I lean over to him. You know, there's an exit over there for people who, changed their mind. I'll bet you could slip out without anyone knowing. Looks like not all of us are even gonna be riding the same train. TJ stares straight ahead, clutching onto the railing. I can see his sharp claws unsheathed, pressing into the metal and chipping away some of the red paint. No, I'm fine. You sure? Yep, perfectly fine. Well, we're in the middle, which is the best place to be if you don't like roller coasters. Yeah. I really wanted to be able to get TJ to skip the ride, but it seems like he's pretty determined to do it for some reason. Peer pressure, I mean, not for me, but probably from the others, kind of. Not even from them saying anything in particular. Except Flynn, but I know how it is. I know how it is, TJ. Finally, our train comes along, and I step in as two laughing and panting hyenas step out. Oh my god, that was the most intense! Holy shit, dude, I know, I never get scared on rides and I almost fucking pissed myself. I do a quick check of the seat to make sure there isn't any actual piss before sitting down. I look up and see TJ standing on the edge of the platform, his eyes wide, one foot stuck out to get on. TJ? A bored-looking teenage fox comes by to check my lap bar, and I stick out my paw. Hey, wait. TJ, you getting on? The fox goes from looking bored to mildly annoyed. If you're getting on, you need to get on now. We can't hold up the entire ride for you, sir. The exit's that way, where other adventures await. People around us are starting to notice. Unfortunately, Flynn, who was lined up with Carl towards the back, is paying very close attention, grinning like he knew this was going to happen. Aw, TJ, too scared? Guess you're a pussy after all. Shut up, Flynn. Hey, TJ, when it gets real bad, just say to yourself, at least I'm not gonna die. Actually, a few people have. TJ! I thought I was going in to reprimand Flynn, but no, it's... TJ! I yell up at him, and that seems to jar TJ out of his trance. He almost falls into the car as he stumbles into it, fumbling with his shoulder restraints before the fox attendant sighs and leans down to do it for him. I can see the red on the insides of TJ's ears as he blushes, and I feel my own ears burn a little from secondhand embarrassment. Now that it's too late, I realize that we shouldn't have started with this ride. We should have started with something smaller to build up his confidence. I'm jolted back as the train moves forward. Oh gosh! TJ's paw lashes out and lashes onto my arm. Oh no, why am I doing this? I reach over to try and move his paw from my arm and back onto the handle on his shoulder restraints. TJ, hold on to that. My arm, you're gonna— Chase, quiet! I pause, staring at the lynx. I'm really not used to hearing TJ yell. He's almost puffed out to twice his size. I just need some quiet right now, and— Ah! Our train begins its descent up the first hill, and I can feel TJ's claws pricking through my fur into the skin. He starts mumbling quietly to himself, his eyes closed. TJ, are you praying? He doesn't say anything, and soon we've reached the apex of the climb. I give up on trying to move his paw and sit back, a little nervous myself. I really hope TJ doesn't completely lose it. I rinsed the blood off my arm in its dirty theme park bathroom. It wasn't as bad as I thought it could have been, though TJ did start crying when we hit the first adventure. TJ did start crying when we first hit the. I've been recording for an hour and 39 minutes, and I think a lot of that will be cut out just due to me pausing and stuttering and going to the bathroom as I'm doing right now. It wasn't as bad as I thought it could have been, though TJ did start crying when we first. My god. Though TJ did start crying when we hit the first inversion. My god. That's not that difficult to read. Though TJ did start crying when we hit the. Though TJ did start crying when we first. Why just my mouth want to do that? When we first instead of when we hit. When we hit the first inversion. Crying when we hit the first inversion. Though TJ did start crying when we hit the first. It wasn't as bad as I thought it could have been, though TJ did start crying when we hit the first inversion. I knocked the mic that time. Whatever. He had scratched the shit out of my forearm, grabbing it with both paws once we started the descent. Unfortunately, Flynn and Carl were still on the platform when we rolled back into the boarding station. Flynn looked ready to lay into TJ again, but when he saw the tears, he had the decency to hold back. Good. I helped the shaking lynx out of the car, and somehow we managed to stumble into the bathroom where he quickly hid in a stall. I should have forced him out at the exit. He'd always had anxiety problems, though I think we all believed it was a childhood thing that he'd gotten over. I don't know if he still takes medication. Hey, TJ? Yeah? We should probably get back. Leo texted me that they're all waiting by the ride. Yeah, I'll be out in a second. The cheerfulness in his voice is forced. I ignore the weird looks I'm getting from the other people in the bathroom and instead inspect my arm. The scratches are pretty superficial, so the bleeding has stopped. No one would notice it under the thick fur, even if it's tender as hell. I hear the stall door open behind me, and through the mirror I see TJ come out. He sees me looking over my arm, and his face crumples up again. Chase, I'm sorry. Is it bad? I really don't want him to start crying again. TJ cried a lot when he was a kid, almost every day, and even at 19, it seems like he's still pretty susceptible. It's fine, doesn't even hurt. Ah, well, that's good. We stand there awkwardly for a few seconds, then I air out my shirt, which was starting to stick to my sweaty body. Listen, it's honestly getting way too hot for me to wait in lines all day. I think I'd rather just sit down and watch some shows or something. Oh yeah? Yeah, you want to do that with me? TJ's ears come up a little, and he clutches his paws together, the fidgeting subsiding a bit. Yeah, Chase, I think that'll be fun. I can tell he's at least a little relieved. We both head out back towards the ride, and I spot the four of them waiting by the exit. I furrow my brow as I spot Carl crouched on the ground, Jenna kneeling next to him and rubbing his back. Hey, everything alright? Jenna looks up, a sympathetic smile on her face. Carl's not feeling too good. You wanna sit on a bench or something? If I move, I'm gonna... That's what you get for stuffing your face right before the ride. You think they sell ginger pills here, or ginger ale at least? A joint would be nice. There are some vendors over there, I'll go check. I'm actually kinda glad everyone's preoccupied with Carl right now. Take some of the heat off of TJ. Let's move you to a bench. It'll be better if you're sitting down. Slowly, Jenna and Leo lift Carl up, and now I can see from his face that he really is ill. To the average person, our little outing might already seem like a disaster, but this is perfectly typical for us. Nothing ever went according to plan. We set Carl down at a bench, and he bends over, his face in his hands as he moans softly. TJ comes back with a medium-sized cup in his paws. He sits next to Carl. No ginger ale, but they did have some lime soda. Carl takes it and sips a bit of it, before sitting back and belching. Fuck it. I'm done, guys. What? What are you gonna do all day? Sit there? Actually, me and Chase are going to go see some shows. You can come with us. Ugh. Guys, we were doing this to hang out with each other, remember? I'll leave him. We're wasting time. Flynn turns and walks off, his hands shoved in his pockets, hunched like a stone gargoyle. He definitely looked the part, being a lizard. Yeah, that was probably a bit speciesist. Well, we all have our phones. Text us, alright? Sure. Jenna turns and follows Flynn, but Leo hesitates a moment. He looks at me before eventually turning to follow Flynn and Jenna. 5 minutes later, Carl's stomach settles to the point where he's able to get up and walk. At this point, I'm completely wiped out, and I just want to sit down. I point out the first stage we see, and they agree. I sigh gratefully when I sit down. You look tired as shit. I crack an eye open to see Carl giving me a sidelong glance. I don't sleep very well in motel beds. I actually woke up around 2. You were gone. Now TJ's looking at me too, and I feel my gut clench for a second. Yeah, I tried to go for a walk down the street. Hoped it would help me get tired. Well, if that happens again, you can just walk over to my house. I'm up until like 3 every night. Wow, why? Carl shrugs, leaning back and sticking his hooves up against the chair in front of him, earning him a dirty glance from his occupier. Games, mostly. Sometimes I read. Carl rubs his chin, opening his muzzle, closing it, then opening again. You know, it would be pretty cool if you spent the night one of these days. That house can be creepy as hell when you're the only one in it. You're alone? Yeah, parents are vacationing in their regal paradise, having a bloody good time, they tell me. Carl tries to put on an accent, but doesn't do a very good job of it. Oh, did you want to go with them? Carl blows a raspberry, laughing. Not really. Mom told me right away that weed isn't legal there either, so I took that as them not wanting me to come along. Oh, they did say that the chocolate there is real, whatever that means, and that they'd bring me some. Guess I'm not enough of a fat ass yet. Come on, Carl. But dude, I'm getting there. Soon all I have to do is stand in front of the mirror, block out my face, and jerk it to my moobs. I make a dumb, snorting, croaking sound, and I can feel TJ looking at the two of us disapprovingly. Not the hardest thing to do when you're high. Wait, so you've actually done it? Carl shrugs, smirking at me. I reach out and grab his chest. From what I can tell, there's a pretty firm set of pecs under there. Carl puts a mock horrified look on his face. Sexual assault! He touched my breast! Oh, whatever, Carl. They're harder than mine. So now we're teenage girls in the locker room committing racks. Hey, you're the one that brought up tits. You know what? I can see it. Yeah. You're the hot preppy one everyone likes. I'm the big fat chick you're all nice to but call Big Thunder Mountain behind her back. And TJ? TJ hadn't been paying attention, distracted with watching some dancers come on stage. He looks innocently at us. Huh? You're the cute, naive Christian chick that only takes it up the butt so as to say a virgin. What? Let me feel your boobies, I want to compare. What in the world are you No! Small but perky. After a few seconds of tussling and Carl getting smacked in the nose by TJ, somebody shushes us from behind, and we're forced into silence. God. The show starts off with a bunch of mice having a weird sort of hoedown. TJ's really into it and actually starts coughing along. I smile. TJ could definitely be kind of cute sometimes. Carl just rubs his nose and leans back, watching with a smirk, as if the whole thing is a joke to him. At this point, my eyelids were feeling really heavy. At most, I'd gotten maybe 4 hours of sleep last night. Okay, update. It is now 24 degrees Celsius, at least in the kitchen. Doesn't feel like it here, but... I think about leaning my head back, but the backs of the seats are pretty low, and I just end up with my head hanging over the back. Leaning forward would just be impossible. I could lean on one of my friends. I don't think they'd mind. Sure, I'll save. Let's lean on TJ. I think he needs it a little more. TJ might be smaller, but he's definitely an easy guy to convince, especially if he thinks he's helping someone out. TJ, can I lean on you for a bit? What? Why? He looks a little uncomfortable. Okay, sorry. I'm so tired, man. Alright. I lay my head in the crook of his neck, and I feel him tense up a little, but after a while he relaxes. There's some heat coming off his neck, and I'm pretty sure he's blushing. It's not too bad, though. He may be slender, but his fur is pretty damn soft. The sound of the clapping and fiddles starts to drift away as the lack of sleep takes its toll. Okay. I feel along the rough edges of rock and dirt. The only thing I can hear is the shower of debris I'm knocking to the ground. The air is stale, and I have the vague feeling that I'm suffocating. I keep going. I'm gonna reach the end eventually. Just have to keep moving. I can tell that I'm going down deeper and deeper. The space around me is growing smaller and smaller, and soon I'm hunching up so that my head doesn't scrape the ceiling. I can hear footsteps, not quite in synchrony with my own. They aren't any kind of footsteps that I've heard before, though. I stop and listen. There's definitely the sound of feet, but not like they're walking. It's like they're stamping down on the ground, making as much noise as possible. This is accompanied by a slapping sound, as if someone is smacking their paws on the ground as well. I imagine a canine toddler, still insisting on walking on all fours while throwing a tantrum. It's heavier, though, like an adult is doing it. That image makes the nape of my neck prickle, but I'm not scared. It's not long after I've stopped that the noise stops as well, just 10 feet behind me. I turn, watching the darkness. I knew you'd come back. They always do. My voice sounds clogged, muted, like the rocky walls are just sucking up the sound instead of bouncing them down the tunnel. The stamping starts up again, loudly, coming towards me at full speed. Now I can hear sobbing, sniffling, and a strange, guttural grunting. It's just feet away. You're only moving in circles. It veers away just as the words leave my mouth, going back the way it came. I stand there a while, listening until I can't hear it anymore. I turn and continue on, feeling the walls again as I make my way lower and lower. The smell hits me right as my paws hit it. Slick and slippery. Blood coats the walls, my paws run along like thick oil. It's warm and fresh, and now I know I'm getting close. A voice abruptly echoes down the tunnel. It's not far away at all. I knew you'd come back. They always do. I make... Suddenly I just start slipping into a cheery voice. I make my way closer and closer, and now fear pricks my heart. They always do. I hear muffled screams now, as if someone is yelling with their mouth closed. Now the fur is sitting up all over my body, but my feet won't stop. I keep going. I'm getting closer and closer. You're only moving in circles. I'm here. It's right here in front of me. And now I'm reaching out to it. Reaching out to touch it. I can't stop. I can't stop. I jump. My head jerks up and my eyes snap open, looking around wildly. It's like I just came up from being underwater too long. Shit! Whoa! TJ and Carl both jump shortly after I do. I look back and forth as they stare wide-eyed back at me. It takes me a second to realize I'm still at Southwest Adventures, at the stage, watching shows. Jesus, fuck, dude, you alright? Carl! I lean forward and rub my face with my paws, trying to stop shaking. I'm fine, just a really bad dream. I feel a small paw on my back as TJ rubs it. What about? I'm not really sure, just in a really dark place, and some things were in there. Ah, that does sound pretty creepy. What kinds of things? I think for a minute. The weird crawling thing, the screaming thing. I pull my head up, looking towards the stage, which is empty right now. It doesn't matter. It was just a dream. Hey, what happened to the show? Carl chuckles next to me, leaning back again. You missed them, dude. We've seen like 3 shows. Yeah, they even had a segment with otters doing water tricks. We thought about waking you up for it, but you were in a really deep sleep. That's too bad. I always loved seeing my people laughed at for the swimming clowns that we are. How long's it been? Carl checks his phone, which he already has out. Been about 3 hours. Could probably get some lunch now. Damn, I'd been out for a while. I'm surprised I hadn't at least woken up a few times, considering the uncomfortable position I'd been in. I guess you feel better then? Yeah, been feeling better for the past 2 hours. Now I'm hungry. It's already 2 PM, and I've composed myself for the most part, so I take out my phone to text Leo. We're kinda hungry. We should meet back up. He gets back to me pretty quick. Okay, mostly done with rids and yeah. Meet at food court. CRT. We meet Flynn at a table in the food court, where he's already bought some pizza. There's no food CRT TV? I thought that was where we were going. I mean, some people make, like, themed CRT TVs. There could be a food one. You just gotta make it. I have a CRT TV over there. I could customize it. I think I want to, though. Good news is, it is slowly getting a little bit colder in here. Still have to drink a lot, though. Hopefully I'll get used to using my voice this much and I won't constantly complain about it in every coming episode of this game. Carl immediately sits down and pries open the box, taking out a few slices. Ugh, of course. You guys have fun? It was alright. Watched a few shows about our state's species' history. Chase took a nap. Flynn eyes TJ, who doesn't say anything as he sits to take out his own slice of pizza, a bit more daintily than Carl had. Feeling better, Tej? Yeah, I'm fine. TJ nibbles on a slice of cheese pizza. Yeah, well, the pizza here is a hell of a lot scarier than any of the rides, so you're braver than I am. Where are Leo and Jenna? Flynn rolls his eyes and nods towards a row of carnival games to the right of the court. Fighting. They've been playing those games for a fucking half hour already. I'm not surprised. I grab my own slice of pizza and a napkin and make my way over there. Keeping with the theme of the Old West, the carnival section of the park is decked out with the fake saloons and brothels. I spot them pretty quick. Leo's holding a pink unicorn and Jenna's carrying a green dragon. They seem to be in pretty good spirits, though Leo's grin is a little tight. Looks like a pretty successful haul, you guys. Hey, Chase. Jenna's grinning, looking a little smug as well. You guys finished? We're eating raw. We're eating now. I don't read this as we're eating raw. Raw eating. Like, are we eating raw food, or are we eating in a raw manner? Just, like, going at it. Like, all of these characters are human-like normally, but just whenever they eat food, they turn into feral animal versions of themselves. Leo shifts the giant unicorn around. Yeah, we're pretty much done, I think. Damn, Leo, you must have won something pretty hard to get that. Yeah, that was me. I look over at the green dragon Jen is holding. But what about that? Yeah, I won this too. Oh, well, I'm sure you've won a couple. Actually... Yeah, I've beaten him in every game. Well, you're visiting. I want your memories of this vacation to be good. Obviously, it's getting to your head, though. Oh, please. Chase, you should have seen his face. Sour grapes the whole time. Oh, really? I would usually stay out of stuff like this. Leo always got a little carried away when it came to competition, especially when I was around, but it was kind of funny seeing him act like this. Let's just go eat. Wait, there's a high striker. Why don't we show Chase who's stronger, huh? Leo contemplates that for a second, but seems pretty confident about this one. He's literally almost twice the size of Jenna. I don't know if that's very fair to you, Jenna. I mean... He lets that sit, and honestly, I have to agree. Jenna, though, gets a little fox gleam in her eyes that I knew meant she thought she knew something we didn't. Afraid I'm gonna woo your ex? Wow, Jenna's going all out. My muzzle flushes under the fur, but that only seems to decide things for Leo. A confident smile replaces the sheepish one from before. Oh, so, yeah, by the way, I am Leo's ex. I just figured that out when he said it. Even though it should have been pretty obvious, I think. Considering the fact that I was on his, like, anchor thing was only surprising because he was still wearing it, and not because he had it at all. Oh, yeah? He flexes his shoulders and sticks out the stuffed unicorns at me. I stuff the last of the crust into my mouth and reach out to take it. Jenna does the same, and now I'm hugging two massive stuffed animals by my sides, tripling my girth. Alright, let's do this. Step right up, test your strength. $3, 3 tries. Ring the bell and win a prize. I'd like a try. Ah, we have a taker. Big, strong wolf like you would have no problem at all. $3, please. Leo hands over the money, and the carney hands him a mallet. Leo pointed at me with a grin. This one's for you, Chula. Okay. My heart skips a beat. He hasn't called me that in a while. But I decide to play along. Don't disappoint me, Leo. I really want that stuffed griffin. I point to the griffin on the carney's long shelf of toys. Sure thing. Leo spreads his legs and squares his shoulders before raising the hammer and bringing it down hard onto the rubber-looking pad. It's a pretty hard hit, but the chaser only raises up to the 40 mark. Oh, almost, Sir Wolf. Try again. Leo's brow furrows, and now I'm not so sure this was a good idea. He raises the mallet again and grunts as he brings it down even harder, causing the contraption to shake a little. This time the chaser shoots up to the 70 mark. Even better. This time put you back into it. I can hear Leo growling a little as he raises the mallet a final time and brings it down with a snarl, all the muscles in his arms standing out. I'm pretty sure I feel the ground shake this time as the impact causes more than a few heads to turn. This time the chaser only goes up to the 60 mark. Leo gapes at the game. So close! $3 more will get you 3 more tries. Would you like to try again? Nope, my turn. Jenna already has her money ready and hands it to the carney. Oh ho, a little battle between the sexes, eh? Well, step right up, my fair fox maiden. How will you fare against the big bad wolf? Leo reluctantly hands the mallet to Jenna. Alright, beat 70. Jenna points the mallet at me, winking. Don't worry, Chase. I'll get that griffin for you. Leo snorts loudly, folding his arms and looking pretty annoyed. Good luck. I was hitting that thing as... Before he can finish, Jenna raises the mallet into the air and puts it into a graceful swing. It's as if she were chopping wood as she brings it down hard into the rubber pad. It lands precisely and cleanly, in sharp contrast with Leo's sloppy hits. I stare, Leo stares, the carney stares. Jenna simply raises her paws in the air. Yay! A few onlookers around us laugh and cheer. Oh my! The fair fox has won! Come over and pick your prize. He glances at Leo. Sorry, buddy. The feline shoots a sympathetic but also amused smile Leo's way before turning to the onlookers. See that? A female fox, half the size of this male wolf, has rung the bell. Could one of you be next? Leo looks mortified, but quickly changes his expression to a sheepish grin. He doesn't seem to want to look at me. Good job, Jenna. Jenna bounced back to us, carrying the big stuffed griffin. Give those ones to Leo, so I can give you this. I hand off the stuffed toys to Leo, who grumbles a bit as he takes them. And things rigged. Jenna hands me the griffin. Thanks, Jenna. That was really... She leans over and pecks me on the cheek. I see Leo's eyes widen as he does it, his ears standing straight up. Aw, it was nothing. Leo stands there for a few more seconds, working his jaw. Awesome! He turns away and leaves, his arms still wrapped around the giant stuffed toys. Jenna starts laughing. Jenna! Oh, she'll get over it. He's just so damn fun to tease. I have to agree, but not when I'm being used to do the teasing. He's still really sensitive about the whole thing. You guys talked it over, didn't you? Anyway, aren't you gay? I take a deep breath. I mean, if... I don't know if Chase is gay. Yeah. Yeah. See, he's got nothing to worry about. I'm not in the mood to go in depth about my sexuality. Saying anything else confuses people. Okay. I sigh and rub my eyes with a paw, still a little tired. So he probably is bi. Hey, don't tell Leo that I work at the state fair every year. Wasn't planning on it. The rest of the day is pretty relaxing. We ride a few of the more mellow rides. Leo seemed to cheer up when I volunteered to sit next to him on the Ferris wheel. TJ even built up his courage to the point where he rode the swinging ship. Flynn and Carl rode the slingshot ride together, and with the video feed from the ground, I think it's the first time I've seen Flynn scared. Carl did end up barfing after that one. By about 6 PM, everyone's tired enough that we agreed to head back. I'm still exhausted, so I sleep for the half hour it takes to get back to the motel. When we do get back, I notice how good the sun looks right now. With a sigh, I remind myself that I'm here to actually get a project done, not just play around. So, as everyone sits in the motel, I let them know I'm about to shoot some B-roll, gathering up my equipment and heading out in the heat. Dragging it outside, I set it up, sweating, even under the evening light. Even this late in the day, the heat was pissing me off. For some reason, it's a lot cooler in Pueblo. My mind drifts back to the many days of summer under the blazing sun, the temperature rarely dipping below 100. I'm amazed poor TJ never had a heat stroke. When I put my eye to the viewfinder, I'm a bit disappointed at how broken down the town looks, even with the amazing backdrop. What a dump. I'll say. It's then that I hear footsteps and talking behind me. I pause my recording and turn around. How's the filming? It's alright. Kinda ran under the sun, but it's okay. Echo looks like crap, no matter what kind of light you shoot it in. Do you need us to keep quiet? Nah, I'm just shooting B-roll. What's it but to come back in? Let's stay out here a minute. Carl and Flynn are getting a little loud. Besides, I want to talk to you two. He wraps an arm around Jenna and reaches out the other one to pull me in so that we're both flanking him. I feel my shoulder press into the warm bulk of his side and chest. He'd always been taller than me. My eyes barely came up to his chin, but now it seemed like he was almost twice as wide. He'd definitely put on more muscle since I last saw him. While he was always pretty muscular, he'd been more on the lean side. Now his chest and biceps pulled his shirt tight. It felt nice though, like something very sturdy wrapped in velvet. I suppose it was a mixture of adding on both muscle and fat. I'm at least happy to see he's gotten over his little defeat to Jenna. Look at us, the OG crew! Leo's strong voice vibrates from his body into mine. The effect is tranquilizing, and I feel myself relax. Together again. The only thing I miss about this town. Leo is referring to the fact that he, Jenna, and I were the original 3 in the group of 6 to become friends. Later, we would add TJ, then Carl, and finally Flynn and Sydney. Leo had really been the one to unite us all. Okay, well, Sydney hasn't been in the story yet. I remember when you first got here, everyone's afraid of you. I remember when I first got here, I found a bunch of gringos who wouldn't even talk to each other. We all went to the same schools in Payton, and had our different friends there. When Leo moved in, he thought it was strange that the kids in Echo didn't hang out together. As I entered middle school and high school, I cycled through a ton of different friends, but the ones in Echo always stayed the same. Remember when we'd always have sleepovers at Chase's place? Of course. I'd kick your ass at Closet Theory all the time. I remember. I used to think you guys were only friends with me for my video games. Many times I'd fallen asleep to the flickering of the old CRT television set, watching the outlines of Jenna and Leo twist side to side as they played. I would wake up hours later only to find them still playing. It was weird. Jenna and Leo got along really well, but there is a bit of a competitive streak between the two. Actually, it's one of the few things that gets Leo genuinely angry. I think he even broke one of my controllers once. How long has it been since we first met? Well, when did you move in? I think it was in 2000. So, take 2015 and subtract 2000. What does that leave you with, Leo? Okay, so this is in 2015. That's when they started making this game, I think. So yeah, that makes sense. Leo looks sideways at me and smirks. There's a flash of a white canine as it appears from under his lip for a moment. You think yourself a real hotshot now that you're in college, eh? I smirk back, even though I know my canines aren't as impressive. Pretty much, yeah. Well, you'll always be those little bastards to me. I feel Leo's wagging tail swat me in the butt. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Speaking of which, are you two getting along over there? Jenna looks at me around Leo's broad chest. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, we haven't had many chances to hang out. Why not? Well, it's college. It's also a pretty large university. I don't even think we've seen each other in passing. Yeah, things are different. But, Jenna, we should do something together soon, before you graduate. Definitely. Leo still looks a little disappointed that me and Jenna aren't keeping up at the university, but I don't know why. She had her friends, I had mine, and we did talk sometimes. Jenna nudges into Leo, causing us all to sway. And speaking of that, when are you going back to Mesa? Mesa is the community college in Payton. Leo went there for a few semesters before taking a break. And by break, I mean he quit. We'll see. I have to talk to my parents. It's just starting to get really busy. Why don't they hire more people? You know, you would have graduated by now. You would have had your master's by now. Leo sighs. It's about committing to the family business, not the help he needs. Jenna rolls her eyes, blowing out some air and ruffling the tufts of fur on her head. Wolves and their families. You should try thinking and speaking for yourself sometime. If I hadn't done that, I'd still be stuck in that crank house. Jenna flicks her head vaguely in the direction of where she used to live. Jenna is the only one, aside from Carl, who has family still living in Echo. I wonder if she's going to visit them, even though I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to that. I see Leo tighten his arm around her shoulder, but she goes on without missing a beat. And you can start with our otter here. I look up, caught unawares. Huh? What? Jenna? I'm serious. Jenna puts her paw up in Leo's face, cutting him off. I am not going to spend this entire week with you asking me when or how you should do it. Let's rip off the band-aid now. Chase. Jenna? There's a warning tone in Leo's voice as he pins back his ears and drops his arms for our shoulders. I already know what's happening. It's been a long time coming. I take a step back and fold my arms, looking to the side. Chase, Leo has some things to say to you. And yes, it's about that. Now, I'm going to head back in and make sure Carl doesn't light up in the bathroom. Jenna! His tone changes to exasperation as Jenna turns on her heel and leaves. Judging by the curl in her tail, I can tell that she's pretty satisfied with what she's just done. I return my attention to the road. I couldn't really bring myself to look at him right now. We both stand there for a minute, 3 feet apart. I hear Leo scuff the ground with his foot, then sniff as dust rises from the ground. I hear him draw in a breath a few times, as if he's going to say something, but ends up blowing it out with a sigh. Oh god. Okay, I think that was just... Okay. Yeah, I think that's just a train. Sound. We were never good at this, probably why it ended up failing like it did. Leo, I'm sorry, Chase. For what? Not talking to you about this when I should have. Talking to Jenna about it when I should have been talking to you. He reaches out and sets a paw on my shoulder, the silver anchor on his wrist glinting just a bit in the fading light. He's smiling at me, but I grit my teeth. Why are you still wearing that? His eyes flick from the bracelet, then back to my face, expression turning defensive. Why aren't you still wearing yours? Don't you remember what we said? I sigh, looking at the scattering of clouds behind Leo's head. They're tinged to soft pink from the fading sun. The sunset is almost the same color as Leo's fur. Leo, we were teenagers. That's not an answer. He cuts me off and I look back at him. I told you, they weren't love bracelets. They weren't just about our relationship. They were about everything. Our friends, family, memories. Echo. I raise my voice above his, cutting him off this time. They were about Echo, Leo. We stand there a while, and Leo's looking closely at me, expectantly, his ears tipped forward. His eyes pierce me like amber shards. It was always hard to look him in the eye during our arguments. What? Do I have to say it? Alright, fine. I fucking hate this place. Everything about it. It's the most miserable goddamn place I've ever been. How many places have you even been? Enough to know that it's miserable. Most everyone here is old, obese, on welfare. Half of them are probably on meth. Leo pulls in a deep breath and blows it over my head. I can smell the bell peppers on his breath. No one likes it here, Chase. I mean, it was an anchor. I'm half laughing. Just looking at it made me feel like I was still tied to this town. I didn't need it reminding me of all that awful stuff. I know it was supposed to symbolize our being each other's rocks or whatever, but it stands for a lot more than that. But a lot of good things happen here too. No one should forget where they come from. Sometimes I wish I could. At this point, Leo's deflated a bit, going into a slouch, his ears lowered. Wait, you said was. You didn't get rid— No, I still have it. It's just in a drawer in my dorm room. Honestly, if it was anything else, like one of those infinity bracelets we saw, I wouldn't have trouble wearing it. Well, fuck, why didn't you say anything when we were buying them? I didn't know it was gonna be a problem. Leo takes in a deep breath again before blowing it out, puffing out his cheeks this time. Uchika, otter. He puts a paw to his eyes and holds it there for a few seconds. It's a pose I'm pretty familiar with. Even though I haven't seen it in a few years, I'm hit with a wave of memories, mostly of me frustrating or embarrassing Leo somehow. We decided on the anchors mostly because they looked pretty. Leo had referenced some wolf metaphor about roots and how we were always drawn back to them. Also some bullshit about how otters were great sailors, but really it was just the aesthetic. For some reason over the years, I'd begun to associate the anchor with being stuck in Echo. It was when I started connecting the anchor to Sydney that I'd taken it off. It was too much. Anyway, Leo brings me back to the present, and I focus back on him. What I was trying to say was that I'm still not okay with how you left. Leo, I said I was sorry, and I still am. Or how you stopped talking to me for a while. Okay, I was a kid. I thought I had a good tactic. Like Jenna said, rip off the band-aid, you know? We did start talking again. It was more like you punching me in the gut than kicking me in the balls. The problem was that you didn't even give me a chance to say anything, or at least tell me why before you broke it off. I stay silent for a while, then finally look up, setting my jaw. Like I said, I was young and dumb. I didn't know how to handle it. I can keep apologizing, or we can move on and make the most of this. We only have 1 week, and I want to have fun. Leo looks to the side, paws on hips, as if contemplating, then looks back at me with a smile. Right, fine. But don't think you're off the hook. I still want to talk soon. Soon, just not right now. I stand there awkwardly for a few moments, then, because it feels appropriate, I step in to give him a hug. He takes it willingly, and he's warm and strong. For a moment, I wonder why the hell I dumped this guy. Just then, someone lays on the horn as they drive past us, pulling me out of my reverie. Bags! I lean back so I can watch the car speed down the empty road. Leo keeps holding me, though, and he just chuckles. Echo hasn't changed much, has it? No, it hasn't. As we're saying our goodbyes, I remind Leo about the shots I need of the lake. He says he'll talk to the other two about it after they leave. We all say our goodbyes before Leo, Carl, and Flynn take off. TJ takes his usual hour getting ready for bed, while Jenna does some schoolwork. By the time I'm finished brushing my teeth, I'm grateful to see them both in bed. I get under the covers next to TJ and lay there for about an hour, staring at the ceiling. Slowly, I slide out from under the covers, careful not to wake TJ. Quietly, I slip my jeans on and grab my jacket before heading out the door. Toby builds a small sandcastle next to the lake, in the process of digging a moat around it. Why is the creepypasta music here again? Jenna drops a few twigs next to it before running off to find more decorations. Also, Toby? Is that like TJ? Flynn is talking to Sydney, pointing at Toby's sandcastle. Sydney looks hesitant but excited. He seems to make up his mind, suddenly running forward and kicking the top of the tallest castle. It breaks easily, with most of it flying into Toby's face. Toby flinches back, shocked before immediately crying as he rubs at his eyes. Jenna comes running from across the beach, yelling before shoving at Sydney, who's laughing. She turns to Toby, trying to help him clean his face, but the lynx pushes her away before running towards the trail back to Echo. Monday. I think that's where we'll end it off for now. I've been going for 2.5 hours, so yeah. I wanted a longer episode to start off with, but I think that's enough. Yeah. That was a lot. Starting off strong, yeah, I can tell. If I try to go with Leo here, that's probably not going to end well. But it's probably not going to end well on any other routes, to be honest. I don't know if any of the decisions I've had so far have impacted the route split, or whatever. I mean, if I do get a clear-cut choice that just, causes the route split, then, I might veer towards TJ. I mean, this isn't a dating sim, so it's not like I'm gonna, well, I don't know if I'll date them, but, I guess I'll just focus on them. And TJ seems like maybe the most, interesting one to go for right now. Yeah, interesting start to the game. Yeah, I like it. Nothing major's happened so far, but I think it's doing a good job of leading us into it, with the game apparently being a horror game, and just us having sort of glimpses of that. But not even... It's less like horror and more like just foreboding things happening. More like red flags popping up. But I guess I'll see some more of this game in about a month. Maybe. I don't really know how I'll change up my recording or my upload schedule. I feel like it's probably maybe going to be Echo every other week and then some other game every other week, at least until Deltarune. at which point it's going to just be Echo and Deltarune alternating probably. And the reason I'm doing it, and the reason I'm doing the series at all right now, is because I feel like these visual novel videos are pretty fast to edit, so it doesn't take much time off of my weeks to get them out, so I can probably upload my videos at about the same rate as before, which at this point is monthly, so that's monthly for the other videos, and now hopefully also monthly for these Echo videos. I mean, it depends on how long I play this game, but I mean, I'll see how this goes, and if it goes fine, and I get this done quickly, then I'll probably keep doing it at the same pace, 2.5 hours per episode, at least 2 hours of recording. But yeah, we'll see with all of that. Like I said, this is a pretty long game, so it'll take a while to get done. And even after that, we have Echo, Route 65, and Arches, both of which I am planning on probably doing, and not on April Fools, because as far as I know, none of those three, this Route 65 or Arches, have a lot of sexually explicit content in it like Ad Astra does, and probably Kimia and Interia. So yeah, I guess this is just gonna become like a half furry channel and half whatever other game I want to play channel, at least for a while. Because I mean, I can't really think of that many furry games besides this whole Echo series. At least not ones that I would be comfortable with playing on the channel regularly. Because like Ad Astra was kind of a one-off thing. And although I am planning to do Kimia and Interia as well, I think I'll just upload those on April Fools as well. And aside from those, I don't think I want to do any. I don't think I want to play any games that are that like sexually suggestive and romantic and stuff, because that's just not the feel I'm going for with my channel. Like, yeah, this game's had a little bit of romance in it as well, but like, it's not really a romance game. I don't think I would call it that. At least not so far, and I haven't seen anyone else really call it a romance game. Although it is tagged romance on the like database of furry visual novels, fvn.li. That's like near the end of the tag list for it. So yeah, that's mostly why I'm comfortable doing this game regularly, or playing this game regularly and putting it onto YouTube. The next video I'm going to upload after this, I would say is going to be a non-furry one, but it's going to be Kung Fu Panda, so it's technically furry. So maybe I'll see you with that. Or if you just want to see Echo, then I'll see you with that. Or if you just don't want to see me at all, and this was the only video you're watching for me, that's fine too. Hope you liked it. See you next time.
Top of the morning to you ladies, my name is Carl. Hello everybody, my name is Welcome.